good afternoon and welcome to White Rose News. I'm Ed.
And I'm Jacob, and we're getting well into October now with Halloween right around the corner. We're starting to see more and more people getting ready for that spooky season. Have you started preparing anything yet, Ed?
Not quite yet. Halloween isn't really my sort of thing, but I'll probably be dressing up as a vampire like usual.
You do that every year.
I
How
know.
about doing something different? Be like a Spice Girl.
But the Spice Girls aren't scary.
Tell that to Scary Spice.
Anyway, here's what we've got in store for you today.
We have a report on the effects of social media on the mental health of young people, and we will be finding out the thoughts of the public on climate change.
We go live to the Festival of Fun, where we find out the most popular Halloween costumes in York this year. But first, let's go to Jacob, who is out and about this week visiting one of York's most haunted pubs.
Hello and welcome to our haunted pub crawl. My name is Jacob, I'm sure you know, and this is our very first step. This is the Sickleway Inn, one of the oldest pubs in York. Some of the architecture dates back to the 15th century. There's many ghosts here, a few like the cat who brushes past people's feet while they're sat at the bar, and a grumpy old man that lives in the cellar and likes to turn off the taps and throw stuff all around. A very spooky place and definitely what you want in your bar. Hello, this is our guest Graham who owns this place, and he's just going to tell us a bit about, hauntings really.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to start with the history of the building?
Yeah,
perhaps?
tell us the history.
I mean, it was built in 1491, so it's a 15th century building. It was built in two parts. The bit at the back, through the door there, that's even older than that, but nobody knows quite how old. It was a cottage. This is the modern bit, which is 250 years old-ish. Yeah. And then the main pub was the 1491 bit.
So lots of different history.
Seen a lot of history. It was apparently all the cellars were used as a gunpowder store during the English Civil War, during the siege of York. So it's obviously seen a few.
Yeah, I've seen events. A few. Yeah, pretty cool.
It's supposed to be haunted by 7 different spirits, including a poltergeist in the cellar that turns gas taps on and off, throws tools around, that kind of thing.
Just
moves stuff around to confuse you when you're trying to work down there. So that's the first one. There's supposed to be the ghost of a little girl that sits crying on this staircase here in front of you. She was killed in the 19th century by a brewer's dray cart delivering beer. She ran out in the road in front of the cart and was run over and killed by the cart. Yeah. Her ghost haunts the stairs.
I don't blame her, really. So guys, even whilst we've been sat out here in the beer garden, I am beginning to understand why this place is haunted. It's dingy, it's creepy out here, there's creaking, there's noises coming from everywhere. So yeah, this place definitely is haunted. And that's all from us. Back to you in the studio.
Well, I won't be going there anytime soon. That looked really scary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I brought a ghost home with me. So, after exploring the horrors of the supernatural, I think it's time we addressed a more modern-day horror that is happening to youths across the UK today.
Yes, this week we had reporter and journalist. A recent study of 10,000 teens who use social media for more than 2 hours a day say they are more likely to rate their mental health as fair or poor. Our reporter Keegan spoke to some young people to find out the effects that social media has on their mental health.
In the UK alone, over 45 million people consume social media on a regular basis. Among all generations, it seems to be the youth of today that spend over 6 hours a day online or looking at a screen. We're here to find out how social media affects young people and their mental health. A recent study at the University of Pittsburgh suggested that heavy social media users are 3 times more likely to be depressed than occasional users. Social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have the most severe impact. How long per day do you spend on social media?
Honestly, really only about somewhere between an hour and an hour and a half each day, which compared to some people is not a lot. I know people who wake up and the first thing they have to do is look at their phone. They have to know what's going on, and I'm just not one of those people. purely because I'm not reliant on it, and I just like to. It's nice to look at. It's nice to keep abreast of what's going on. Sometimes, if you announce events or important news, it spreads like wildfire through Facebook and Twitter, although it might not be reliable.
Do you notice a positive or negative effect on your mental health?
I wouldn't say mental health. I would say that it's quite bad for kind of comparing yourself to others. It can make your self-esteem feel quite low, but I think that if you overcome that, then it's not that bad. But overall, it doesn't really affect me like that.
How does it influence your day-to-day life?
I would say on a kind of boring day, it gives me something to do, which is quite sad. But apart from that, it doesn't really affect my day massively. I try and occupy myself with other things rather than my phone. Try.
How does it influence your day-to-day life?
I guess I experience a lot of low self-esteem because of it. I see constantly loads of photos of people who I aspire to look like, and I just realise sometimes that I'm just never going to look like that, and it's difficult. But I try my best, and I use a lot of editing apps, which I shouldn't really do, to make myself look good, Photoshop, things like that. So yeah, I guess I'm doing exactly the same by showing myself not as I truly am, which is what I should be doing.
Wow, that was really an eye-opener. I think that it's an important lesson to all of us that we put down our phones occasionally and talk to one another.
Yeah, and we all know that in the recent years, climate change has become a very big issue over this summer. Nearly 400 all-time high temperatures were set in the Northern Hemisphere. So here's Ollie to tell us more about the impact and to see what the residents of York have to say about the matter.
Today I am in York, which 2 weeks ago took part in the global climate strike, which saw students and members of the public march to promote action to challenge climate crisis. I'm here in York to find out what the people really think about climate change and their opinion on young people getting so involved with the movement. Climate change has become a prominent issue with MPs debating it regularly. Do you believe that it deserves this much attention?
I totally believe it. Yeah, it needs a lot of attention, yes.
Okay, with activists like Greta Thunberg in the picture, do you believe that MPs are now paying more attention to climate change?
Definitely, yes. Yes. She's doing a great job, I think, and people need to be pushed to believe we really need to change. So, yeah, totally.
NASA scientists say 2013 tied for the 7th warmest of any year since 1880, continuing a long-term trend of rising global temperatures. This time series shows the progression of changing global surface temperatures from 1950 through to 2013. The dark blue indicates areas colder than average, whilst the dark red indicates areas warmer than average.
With the current demands of Brexit, do you think Parliament are currently ignoring issues to do with climate change?
Yeah, I think definitely, because people haven't really lost the impetus to talk about Brexit. They just want it done now. And they're more interested in climate change. I mean, people who are my age are going to the climate demonstrations in London this week. So
yeah, they're massive in York as well.
Are they?
Yeah, I think everywhere is just they don't want to talk about Brexit, they want to talk about climate change.
Yeah.
But I don't think government's particularly talking about it. So I think the people are wanting it, but no one else is.
And do you think with younger activists such as Greta Thunberg becoming involved in the movement, do you think Parliament are now becoming more encouraged to work with climate change?
Yeah, I think so. If they ignore her, that's a whole different thing, isn't it? Ignoring some autistic kid.
Because she's getting traction with the UN and with it was massive in the States and it's big over here. So I think definitely they'll be happy to open their eyes and listen to her soon.
I think so, yeah. That's amazing. She's managed to mobilise something that other people have tried to in the past but haven't managed to do. Yeah, that's it.
According to the Metro, it is estimated Brits will spend £320 million on Halloween. Most likely a big portion of that will be on costumes. Over now to our correspondent Harry at the Festival of Fun to find out all the essentials you'll need for Halloween this year.
Good afternoon, this is Harry Palmer from White Rose News. I'm here with Michael. And we are at the Festival of Fun in York. So Michael, tell us, what is the most popular costume you expect to see?
Well, it's Martin, but the most popular costume will probably be zombies. That's the thing we sell most of. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, What would you say is your most favourite costume that you've seen here?
Well, I like the 20s stuff because we do murder mystery nights, so I like that stuff, gangsters and that sort of thing. So yeah.
So would you say you like dressing up yourself?
I do, just for those events, yeah.
Right, yeah. So what would you say the most unusual or unique costume you have here?
Well, we have several, but probably things like people dressing up as banana costumes, like this sort of thing.
Right, very interesting. So, if you have any costume needs, come down to the Festival of Fun. And that is all from me. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio.
Excellent, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Hopefully now Ed.
Hopefully now Ed will be able to find a much better Halloween costume.
Thank you to everyone at the Festival of Fun for allowing us to have a little insight into their costume shop.
And now, in the UK, in the last 5 years, veganism has risen by 300%, which is 650,000 people, expected 327% higher by 2020. Finally, we are pleased to welcome Caitlin as our special guest today.
Yeah, thank you for coming to speak to us.
That's all right. Hi.
And obviously, over the past few days, there's been a lot of stuff on in the cafeteria. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm from Sodexo. We've partnered with WWF to bring thousands of freebies to students, plant-based tasters, essentially to show them what they eat has an effect on the environment.
Okay. Would you say with like having more plant-based foods, like students are going to be more like willing to try like veganism out?
That's the hope, yeah. So we've introduced a lot of new recipes. The idea behind it was less meat, more veg, essentially to reduce carbon emissions. But hopefully going forward, when we include the recipes that we've had on these past few days, they'll continue to be a success.
Do you want to tell us some of the recipes that are actually available?
So we have a vegan taco kebabs and also a pineapple tikka masala curry.
I tried the curry. It is very nice. To anybody that out there that wants to try it, please try the curry. It is actually delicious. And speaking of food, we've got some here to taste test. So if anybody wants to have a nibble, go ahead.
I'll have a go.
So this is vegan banana and spelt loaf.
Really, really good. So, like, what's in this?
So, vegan. Well, it's banana and spelt, and you get the you get the sweetness from the fruit instead of having loads of sugar in it.
Okay.
I'll do that.
So, with all of the interest in the plant-based foods and the vegan options, will we be seeing more options like this available?
Yeah, definitely. So if you head to the canteen at lunchtime and go to our planted counter, there'll be both vegan and vegetarian dishes on offer.
Okay, and how does the future look for vegan, and do you think it will become more popular, or do you think...
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of interest for the diner, so, and with Extinction Rebellion and things like that happening, there's loads of momentum, and it just seems like it's the future.
Okay, cool.
So what would you say your personal favourite is? Like, if you're going to have some like late night, quick vegan snack, what would you have?
Probably corn vegan nuggets.
Ooh, cheeky that.
Nice. Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to try and become more like eat some less meat in that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely worth trying it out.
Yeah.
No harm in doing so.
Right, thank you so
very
much
much
for coming. Thank you again for coming in and speaking to us.
And that's all from us today on White Rose News.
And be sure to check in next week where we'll be having top tips for carving your very own jack-o'-lanterns.
Thank you very much, and
good night.